Hello, good afternoon, my very good friends. Good afternoon. Trying to pin my topic down on Instagram. The secret of marriage. The secret of marriage. Okay, let me try and pin the topic. Okay. Good afternoon, my very good friends. This is Mr. Henry Okazu from New York City. How are you, friends? I'm sorry, I'm starting a little bit behind schedule. The reason is because I've not been feeling fine. I have some cold. Sorry, please just bear with me. I have some cold, as you can see. I I was thinking I was not gonna do this webinar because I have cold, like serious cold. So I was gonna end this webinar and probably do it next week. But I've received so many calls, so many messages telling me to come online. So I have to struggle to come here tonight, okay, this afternoon. I don't know where you are in the world. All right, so bear with me when I'm speaking. I have to take some bottle of water, my tissue, my inhaler because I have cold. All right, so I want to thank my friends on Facebook for showing live, and thank you my friends on Instagram. Thank you Cynthia Uria for joining. More especially, I want to thank God for giving me the grace to do this webinar. For the last 7 weeks, I've been doing webinar on marriage, and this webinar has been a blessing to me and to a lot of people. Some of my friends have really thanked me for doing this webinar because, according to them, this webinar has been a blessing to them. Some young couples have also been privileged to hear me, and some people who are intending to get married have also been privileged to hear this webinar, and they are really grateful. But I want to also acknowledge the elderly folks who have been in marriage for many years. They've seen what I've said and they've applied it to their marriage, and it's also working for them. So I thought it nice to really give a recap of all I've done all this for the past 7 weeks. Like I said, every marriage is a secret. Every marriage is a secret. Okay, every marriage has a secret. All right, so there is no hard and fast rule to have a secret marriage, to have a successful marriage. There's no hard and fast rule to it. However, there are guidelines, there are guideposts, there are things that you can do to have a very successful marriage. And that is what I'll be sharing with you. If only you could practice it, trust me, it will go a long way to really help your marriage. It doesn't matter how long you've been in marriage. And even though you intend to go to marriage, trust me, if you apply these principles I'm going to share with you, you will forever be grateful. It might not be 100% um, correct or applicable to your case, but to a reasonable extent, trust me, if you do what you're supposed to do, you will have a blissful marriage. Trust me. And now let us begin proper. Okay. As you guys know, I do this webinar simultaneously on Facebook and on Instagram. So at intervals, I'll have to check my Facebook, check my Instagram to see what my friends are saying. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask me your question. Put it on the question box. I'm going to say it on Facebook and on Instagram, and I will do my best to answer the questions. Also, it's also a tradition for me, all right, to always answer, to always give affirmations every now and then. So I'm going to begin with affirmation, all right? The first affirmation I have for you guys is perfect love heals. Perfect love heals. Two, marriage can be sweet and challenging. Number three, forgiveness is very critical in marriage. For you to have a blissful marriage, forgiveness is very, very critical. Four, for you to have a successful marriage, you have to learn, relearn, and unlearn. It is very, very important. And finally, every marriage must be tested. I don't know what your test is. I don't know what you'll be going through in your marriage, but trust me, by the time I'm going to go with you guys on all these principles, you will appreciate the fact that every marriage has been tested. All right, so I will end my affirmations with the last point. Understand your couple. It is very, very critical for the survival of your marriage. All right, I can see a comment on Facebook, all marriage is not the same. That's a fact. Does marriage really have a guidelines? What works for you might not work for me. Exactly. I just affirm that on my affirmation. All right. Every marriage is different. What works for one party might not work for the other party. That is why I said you have to understand your couple. So let us begin with the first principle that I have to discuss with you. What are the real issues in marriage? If you agree with me, identification of a problem is 50% solved. If you have been able to identify the cause of a problem, you'll be able to address the issue. A lot of times people start saying a lot of stuff about their partner. Oh, he's cheating on me, he doesn't love me. There are so many issues women can say and so many issues men can say. But the issue is that sometimes they don't go to the root cause of the matter. They don't go. It's only two parties who are in the marriage know what is really happening in their marriage. Despite the fact that they might tell other people, but it's only both of them know actually what is going on. That is why I said, what are the real issues in marriage? All right, so I'm going to discuss that issues with you now. Okay, the real issues in marriage is not far-fetched. Thank you, Krasnobi, for joining. All right, so for the main issue might be respect, and for the woman, it's all about love. And how does that play out? What a man needs in his life once he's married is respect from the wife. It doesn't matter what the wife say or do. If that man feels he is not respected, he's threatened. And for the woman, when the woman feels she is not loved, there's a problem. So love to a man means respect. And respect to a woman means love. So men, you have to love your wife. And women, you have to respect your man. Trust me, if every man can love the wife, trust me, the woman will submit unconditionally. And if every woman can respect their man, trust me, the man will that you will rule the man unconditionally. Trust me. Love and respect cycle has been one of the main issues which people have failed to realize in marriage. Thank you, Suleiman, for joining. So I'm going to ask you again, how well do you know your partner? How well do you know your partner? These are the real issues. A lot of people go into marriage without preparing. All right, they only prepare for the wedding, but they don't prepare for the marriage. So I'm going to ask you, as a lady, do you know your man's favorite food? Do you know what he likes and what he hates? Do you know where he likes traveling to? Do you know what makes him happy? And as a man, do you know your wife's love language? We have 5 love languages. We have words affirmation. We have physical touch. We have gifts. We have services, and we have time. What is your wife's love language? What turns your wife on? What is your wife's attitude on love, on sex, on money? You have to know some of these issues. It is very, very important because if you have been able to know the main cause of the problem, you will be able to solve it. All right, I also discussed about personalities in marriage. And during that webinar, many people don't know themselves. The first book I wrote, Design Your Destiny, Actualizing Your Birthright to Success, the book is all about self-discovery. Self-discovery is very, very critical. If you don't know yourself, I wonder what you are going to marry to do. Some men did not know themselves before getting married. And same thing for women, same thing for women. Some people just want to fulfill that, excuse me, I have a little bit of cold, like I said earlier on, I have cold. That's why I'm doing this webinar very late. Some men don't really know themselves, why some women have been altered. So some women want to get married just for the fun of getting married. Same thing for men because they think the society will tag them as funny names that you're a man, why not married? As a lady, why not married? You don't have to judge people. But the point I'm trying to say is that you have to know your personality. When I did personalities in marriage, I discussed so many issues. First of all, I talked about sanguine, melancholic, choleric, and phlegmatic. I also discussed about the red, the yellow, the green, and also the blue. And let me give you a recap of when I spoke about these colors. Okay, for the red color, the red, if you're a man or a woman, just pay attention and see, and then think yourself, okay, where do you belong to? So the red color symbolizes ambitious. It means that a man is always, or the woman is always in the haste to get this happen. However, the red color is easily tempered. That is one of their weakness. They are easily tempered. They are not tolerant. They can be intolerant. They can be aggressive. They can be stressed because they are always in the haste to get things done. What about the blue? The blue person is always organized. They see life like PowerPoint, point one, point two, point three. They love money. However, they also have their own weakness. They keep grudges. They are resistant to change. So you want to ask yourself, is my partner a red color or a blue color? What about the yellow color? The yellow color is fun, explorative, loves adventures, loves to travel. The yellow color is not organized. That's one of their weak points. They are easily bored and again, they are indisciplined. They take this for granted. What about the green color? The green color are people who are seen as introverts. They are more of a team player. They hate conflict. However, they can easily express their anger when they're easily irritated. So when you look at that, you ask yourself, where do you fall in? You have to know your personalities and know your wife's personalities. Now, in talking about these personalities, I want you to know that there's no one that is better than each other. They are all good. You have to be tolerant to your partner or to your friend, whoever you are dating or whoever you are married to. Because once you understand that this is the person's makeup, you'll be able to work with them. Now let's talk about the sanguine temperament. The sanguine are seen as highly emotive. They are fun-loving people. They are friendly. People don't come to them, they go to people. The sanguine people, all right, you see them, they always travel, they always have fun. They are in politics, they are comedians, they are team players, so they are always lively. So if your partner is the kind of person that is always in that aspect, just know that that is their temperament, because it's very, very important to know the temperament of somebody. However, the sanguine can be, they can be disorganized and they hate rejection. So as a man, if you're trying to talk to a lady and sometimes she says no, all right, don't take it too bad. Okay, just know that that is what it is. So this is for sanguine temperament. They have their strength and they also have their weakness. All right, so let's talk about the phlegmatic. They are quiet, they are reserved, they are family oriented. These are gentle. These people are not so ambitious. They resist change. These are phlegmatic. They're always gentle. They're always reserved. They don't go to people. Rather, people come to them. That is their nature. They are quiet. Now we have the melancholic. These people are also private. They're introverts by nature. They are very cautious and family oriented. They are perfectionists. They like this working in a particular manner. However, they are not easily irritated. But once they are irritated, they can react. Thank you, Wisdom, for joining. Thank you, Sister Mary, for joining. Thank you, Anastasia, for joining. All right. And so we'll talk about the choleric. The choleric people are people who like activities. All right. They are business oriented. They always try to thrive in activity. They like to produce results. They have confidence. They can be assertive. All right. However, they are slow to build friendship and relationship. They are very close to their close friends and they are very loyal to their family and to their particular friends. So, as a man, as a woman, you have to ask yourself, what is my temperament? What is my wife's temperament? These are the issues that come up in marriage. These are what I call personalities issues. Once you have been able to know this, then you will now be able to know how you can work with your partner. It's very, very important, because if you want to get married, you want to make sure you have somebody's temperament that you are comfortable with. However, no temperament, no temperament is better than each other. You can have male Sam, call male, call flag, or even male Sam, or even Sam male. Some are dominant and some are recessive. So it is advisable for you to know what is your wife's personality, what is your husband's personality. It is very, very important, because there's a book I read when I was in college, Opposite Attract by Tim LaHaye. I will strongly recommend you go and grab a copy of that book, Opposite Attracts. It's very good. It will tell you about your temperament, your personalities, and how you can work with your partner or your couple. So let's proceed to the next one again, communication in marriage. Communication in marriage, I cannot overemphasize that point. Hello. Communication in marriage is like the life wire of a marriage. It's very, very critical. For people to divorce in marriage, sorry, excuse me, I have cold, like I said earlier on. For someone to divorce a marriage, I do not believe that money was the main issue. Yes, money can be an issue. It could be infidelity. It could be personality. It could be so many things. But for me, I strongly believe that couples that have not been able to communicate, have an issue in marriage. Because if you're able to communicate in your marriage, you will not be having all these issues. Money can be an issue, but when you communicate with your partner, trust me, you'll resolve it. And don't worry, I'm going to talk about more money in marriage after I'm done with communications in marriage. All right, I will talk about sex in marriage. Just give me minutes, okay? All right. So communication is very, very important. But what is critical in communication? It is how you say. It is not really what you say, but how you say it. That is what is really, really important in marriage. Couples need to talk. When I was giving my webinar on communication in marriage, I spoke about the Indian talking stick. For example, how does that really work? If you want to say, if you want to convey a message to your partner, all right, and you are the man, okay, let me just use my wife for example now. So I would tell my wife, okay, now I'm holding this stick, this bottle of water. When I'm speaking to you, please just listen to me. Listen to me. When I'm done, okay, I'm going to pass it over to you. And before you now speak, you will tell me two things, okay, that you truly understood me, and then you will now respond in your own words what you think. Okay, so what does that really mean? Now, once you have that talking stick with you, it gives you two reasons that your partner will, number one, listen, and then two, your partner will not interrupt. In addition to that, your partner will now replay back what you've said in the language he or she understands. And then when you now hand over that stick to your partner, he or she will now do the same thing that you did. So what does that really mean? That talking stick will help you to understand what your partner is saying. All right. So like I said, it is not about what you say, but how you say it. So ladies, again, I want you to know something, okay? Sometimes the way you speak can hurt a man. And men, the same thing, the way you speak can hurt a lady. So for example, for men, if a man tells you, can we talk? You would think that he's saying you are in trouble. If a woman tells you Bob is doing well, you would think he's telling you that you are not doing well. If a man says Julia is really nice, now the lady will feel that you are still interested in Julia. Women can be sarcastic in again the way they communicate. For example, if a lady tells you, what time are you coming home tonight? What she's saying in summary is that, are you hanging out with the girls tonight? If a lady says, John keeps calling me, she is saying that John is showing interest in me. If a lady is saying, what time are you coming back? She wants to know. She might say, I'm just checking on you, all right, if she calls you. But in reality, what she's saying is, I'm just checking on you. I don't know if you get that message. So she might call to say, I'm just checking on you. But in reality, what she's saying is, I want to know where you are. So women can be very, very sarcastic. So in summary, what a man says is different from what a woman hears. And what a woman says is different from what a man hears. Let me give you a typical example. If a man has gone out for a meeting or he has gone to work and he came back late at night, right, maybe around 11 or 12. So the lady might say, are you hungry or do you want to eat dinner? What she's saying is, I hope you've eaten where you went, where you have been all day, because I have no strength to cook tonight. So what he hears is different from what he says is different from what she hears, and what she says is also different from what he hears. So a man might say, I don't need your opinion. What he is saying in reality is that your opinion is not relevant, or I don't need your advice. A man might say that it's okay, let's talk later. What he's saying is, forget the issue. So communication is very, very important. As a man, there are things you don't tell your wife. You can't say you've gained weight. That is just too much for her to handle. You can't tell a woman you've gained weight. All right, you don't say such things. Okay, for ladies, you can't tell a man, I make more money more than you. You are stupid. This marriage will end in divorce. You don't say such things to a man. All right. And so to a man also, you don't tell a lady, the worst thing I have done is marrying you. Words are heavy. Trust me. You can cheat in a marriage, right? You could make more money than your partner in a marriage. You could do anything in marriage, but you see words does not live. There's a word you will tell your wife, she will forever live with that word forever. You might insult her or insult her family or insult something about her or use a word against her. She will never forget it because words are heavy. Same thing with a man. There are words you will tell your spouse, he will never forget it in his life. And it can even link to the breakup of the marriage. Words are very, very effective. That is why it's always good for people to communicate in their marriage. It is very, very, very important. I cannot overemphasize it. And please use the talking stick. It is very, very important. All right. So I have a comment on Facebook. Does marriage really have a guideline? What works for you might not work for me. In reality, marriage does not have a guideline, okay? But no, there's a guideline to some extent, okay? All right. So communication in marriage is very critical. Thank you. Miriam Moore says I'm really learning a whole lot. So thank you. All right. So let's talk about the levels of communication before we go into money in marriage. All right. So we have different levels of communication. Number one is the mere talk. What does that really mean? Oh, baby, how are you? How are you? I'm just going out. This is mere talk, casual talk. There's no much attached to it. Then we have the facts, meaning that you are trying to report events like, oh, Mr. John have a newborn baby. Oh, we are going for a baby shower. Oh, see what happened in the news. You are reporting. That is just facts. You are communicating that way. Opinion, you are expressing your thoughts. Oh, I like food. I like rice. I love traveling. Personally, this is what I like. That's opinion. And you can really engage in that area. And then we have feelings. This is where you express yourself. Okay. For example, you can tell your spouse, like the woman can say that I feel ignored, I feel neglected, I don't feel loved. She's expressing her feeling to you. This is a level of communication, and you have to understand what she's saying. And then the belief part of it is the highest point of it, is that you are saying, oh, I'm sorry I can't lose you. I'm afraid tomorrow you might die, you might leave me. That is, you are affirming. So these are levels of communication in marriage. Okay, mere talk, facts, opinion, belief, and feelings. These are different ways to communicate in marriage. Thank you, Umibo Alliance, for joining. Thank you, Augustine, for joining. Feel free to ask me your question if you have any. And then let's talk about money in marriage. This is another critical area people want to know, money in marriage. When I did this webinar on money in marriage, I said, all right, it's very critical because whose money, who provides, and who manages? All right. Okay, let me say this now. Whose money is it? It is not her money. It is not his money. It is our money. That's a golden rule. And let me say this, right? If you have been following my webinar for the past 7 weeks, this webinar I've been doing is strictly on a Christian perspective. However, I try to be pragmatic. All right. So if both of you are married, you are one. Yes, the society have a paradox. The man must provide. That is true. But remember, both of you are equal. And the Bible says, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. If the man is the man that has to provide, and tomorrow he's not being able to provide, what happens? Does that mean the marriage will crash? A good woman will step up and carry a family with love and respect. However, the man does not have to fold his hand and says, oh no, I have no job, my wife is disrespecting me. No, if your wife is doing the job, also supplement her in other ways. Okay, do the dishes, do the laundry, help her, support, just cook, just show her I support you. All right. So even though the man is a man that is supposed to do even though the man is the head of the family, you also have to support. But that being said, let me go back to the main issue. Whose money is it? It is not his money. It is not our money. It is our money. Let that fact be established. All right. Okay. But the man is the head. You have to provide. Let's understand. Okay. Because in marriage, people say, no, my money is my money. Her money is my money. That shouldn't be an ideal marriage. Trust me. Then who provides? The man is the man that provides for the family. The Bible said, any man that cannot provide for the family is worse than an infidel. So as a man, you must give your wife hope. A woman loves a man that is very, very industrious. No woman likes a lazy man. I can remember when I was dating my wife, right? I remember what she said to me. She said, you are the one that's going to provide. If you don't have, I give to you, and then you give back to me. But a woman wants to see a man that is very, very industrious. No woman likes a lazy man, even in bed. Women like men that perform very, very well in bed. If you can't perform very well in bed, sometimes it's an issue for divorce in marriage, but they will not tell you outside, but it's what happens within them. So I have a comment on Facebook by Umu Igbo Alliance. What of joint for bills and separate for personal spending? Now, this is where communication comes in. All right. So what of joint for bills? So if you communicate with your partner and says, okay, honey, I'm going to take care of this bill, all right? And you take care of this bill. Once there's that perfect understanding, good and fine. However, if you are the type that is trying to communicate with your partner and your partner does not want to correspond with it, please spare your marriage and move forward. Take all the bills. Excuse me, take all the bills. Because if your wife is not supporting you, and you know that if you work in that same light, she is working, then there might be a problem. Marriage is all about sacrifice. Marriage is like a package. Once you open it, anything you see, you take it. So if your wife is not supporting you in the bills, as a man, you take up the hill. Just take it up because you don't want your marriage to crash. That's what it is. All right. But if both of you agree on separate bills, good or fine. That's why I said it's good for you to have separate. It's good for you to communicate. Then separate for personal spending. Yes. Once both of you agree that this is how you spend your money, how money or your money, okay? Then a portion should be apportioned to individuals, okay? You can use this money for yourself. That's what it is. When I did my webinar on money in marriage, I spoke about how both of you should decide on how you will support family members. Any money the man gives to the wife family, same money should go to the man's family. Both of you will have to decide, okay, all right, this is somebody we're going to help. So, for example, if as a man you want to help any young lady, your wife should be aware of it, okay? Unless you see that your wife is the kind of human being that is so into myself, she doesn't like helping people, all right? But generally, the man should be able to disclose to the wife, okay, how they're going to manage the affairs of the family. Also, when I spoke about money in marriage in my webinar, please go and watch that webinar in marriage. I said in that webinar that both of you have to disclose your financial details. As a wife, you don't have to open a separate account. Your husband does not know. You don't have to buy asset properties your husband does not know. I've seen it a lot of time. People have different properties. It's a problem. The only time a woman should come up and step up is when the man is a drunkard. He doesn't care. He's irresponsible. He has no job and he does not care. So the woman should step up the game. But if as a man you have no job, a lady, you have to respect your man, especially when you see that the man has vision and he's trying. Okay, so a lot goes in when it comes to communication in marriage. All right, so like I said earlier on, money in marriage is very, very important. And who manages? All right, so for me, I have always abide by this rule: the best interest judgment. If I can manage money very well more than my wife, I'm going to take custody. If my wife can manage very well, she will take custody. All right, so you have to know the strengths of your partner. It is very, very, very important to know the strength of your partner. Take advantage of your partner. For me, I have a wife that's I don't know, because, and I think it's like that to some extent for all women, to some extent. Okay, women have what I call sound judgmental discretion. I would say women are smarter than men to some extent, or to a reasonable extent. So my wife is very creative. She's very artistic, So most times I allow her to take almost all the issues in it. Even though I provide, but I respect her judgment. So women have sense. They have this in them, all right? But most times you see men, oh, I'm the head of the house, I provide, I make more home money, and then they allow their ego to take effect. That shouldn't be the case. Who manage is a person that has the best interest, that can manage very, very well. If, for example, your husband is the man that has the yellow color, he likes fun, adventures, traveling, he's carefree, and the wife is the blue color, choleric, melancholic, reserved, family oriented, generally, allow her to manage. Allow her to manage the family. It will help both of you, because when the money is no longer there, both of you are screwed. So, but one cardinal point I've always tell people in their family is the best interest rule. In every case you have in your family, always think about the best interest judgments. That is priceless. When the man speaks and the wife speaks, they now check who have the best interest and what is the best rule applicable here. Then you work with it. Don't say I'm the man, it will end with me. No, generally you are the man. You will decide how it's going to be. But also remember that you have to listen to your partner. It is very, very important. All right. So let's continue on the issues of money in marriage. All right. I also said again that in money in marriage, okay, both of you have to decide how you will spend the money you have. You have to really decide how you will spend the money, how you will invest, and the debt you will take and the debt you can take. You have to decide. And if as a man you have been given that onus to head the family, like we all know, and then at the same time you manage family, you have to disclose how you spend the money. Your wife, you both of you cannot agree that okay, we will do this investment, and then tomorrow you will now use the money for something else. And when your wife tells you to account for it, you begin to fumble, you begin to raise eyebrows, you begin to raise shoulders as I don't understand. That is not how it should be. All right. Marriage is all about understanding and communication. All right. So Augustine said couples equality is being questioned. Right, it is true. When you are not doing what you're supposed to do and your partner is questioning you, remember you brought it up. Okay. Umibo said, I'm glad you said that strengths, open communication to couple is very, very important. You have to be open. All right. So he said, what is the secret to dealing with conflict? I'm going to get to that area. All right. And that will be my last topic, conflict in marriage. All right. So let me see on Facebook. I have so many stuff on Facebook. Alex says marriage has a golden rule. The rule is love. Always starts and end every conversation with I love you. It's very critical. This is where communication is marriage is very, very important. Always start with I love you. Always start and end with I love you. Trust me. For men, let me share you the secrets. If you should love your wife, oh my good Lord. If you should love your wife very, very well, your wife can have orgasm. Like, just love your wife. Oh, good Lord. If you love your wife, the way doors will open for you. Oh, I cannot overemphasize this. I cannot overemphasize this point. Once you love your wife and your wife feels secured, forget it. And ladies, once you respect your man, you will rule his whole world. You will rule the whole world you will rule his life. So it's very important for men to love their wife and wife also respect your man. I'm going to share more secrets to you guys down the line. On Facebook, I have a comment: women are built for support, not breadwinners. Exactly. However, Mr. Alex, I have an exception to that rule. Generally, men are the breadwinners of the family. All right. Generally, men are the breadwinners. Oh, my battery is running low. I'm gonna call my wife to give me my charger. Please bear with me, baby. Please, can you help me with my charger, please? My battery is running low on my laptop, and I don't want to lose this seminar. Beloved, please, can you help me with my charger, please? All right. All right. So let me continue the webinar. All right. So I have I have an exception to that rule. Generally, women are built, okay, to support a man. However, when the man is no longer capable of supporting the family, what's going to happen? The woman should continue. However, there should be understanding in that place. But do not put in mind that the woman is the one that will now take care of the family. So, can I have the channel for the laptop, please? All right. So that's how it should be. All right. Okay. So I have another question again from by Minimum. He said, I disagree with that. Anyone can be the breadwinner. If the money is ours, then whosoever that provides is empty. I want you to understand something, okay? The man is the breadwinner of the family, all right? So generally, it is both of you that owns the money. However, it all depends on the understanding of the two parties. It is very, very important, okay? So give me a minute. Let me just try it and put my charger. I didn't know my battery was a little bit low, and I'll continue the webinar, please. All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm back. I'm back once more. Okay, all right. So, like I said, okay, so it all depends. The man is the head of the family, so he rules. However, you don't have to relax and say that okay, because she provides, then I don't have to do more. No, both of you have to work it out together. All right. Alex says anyone can be the breadwinner. The man should be able to make 70% of the bills. Women are built to support. I agree with that. The man takes the bills. Women are there to support. Minimo says taking point where the woman gets a better job than the man. In such cases, the man will only be supporting the pillar. The man would only be the supporting pillar. That is true, but again, it's all about understanding. So let me continue with my webinar on money in marriage. I'm going to come back to the questions, okay? Just give me some time, okay? So let's talk about money in marriage. We've done that, so let's talk about sex in marriage. Now, sex in marriage is very, very critical. Sex is something that it is very, very critical in marriage. All right. So I remember when I did my webinar in marriage, okay, I spoke about the origin of sex, and that's from the Bible. You know, when God created Adam and Eve, He told them, go and fill the earth and procreate. Remember, in the Garden of Eden, God told Adam, you can eat all the fruits in the garden, but do not eat these fruits. The day you eat these fruits, that is the day you will die. That was what God told Adam, right? So Eve, on her part, now came in. He now told Adam, you know what? God knows that you're a smart man. That the day you eat this fruit, you become as wise as him. So he now convinced Adam to eat the fruits. Immediately Adam ate that fruit, what happens? He became naked. And then they now realized that they were naked. But before that, remember in the Garden of Eden, he told him, eat all the whole fruits. Now we have the mango, we have the orange, we have so many fruits, right? So he told them, but do not eat these fruits. What does that really mean? Eat other fruit means that as a man, you pluck the fruits in your wife. Her breast, her buttocks, all part of her body, eat it. It's for you to devour. All right, play along with. All right, but the day you go out, you eat this fruit, which means the day you jump the fence and go over, that is the day you have a problem. What does that mean? Do not do anybody, do only your wife, right? So you do me, I do you, and do nobody else. But the day Adam now went to eat the apple, that means he has crossed the fence, and then that's when he now knew that he was naked. So that is where the origin of sex is all about. That is why sex can be seen as one of those killers of marriage, infidelity. So sex is so central in marriage. A lot of people don't know that. Sex is spiritual. When I did my webinar on marriage, I said a lot of stuff about sex in marriage because sex can kill your marriage. You know, I always say this, there's an emotional attachment that goes with sex. A man can have a sex with a woman and then, forget about it. But it will be hard for a woman to have sex with a man without having emotional attachment. That is why when you see men cannot have sex and they walk away. When you start chasing them, they will tell you, yeah, you told me you're going to marry me. The man look at you, hello, are you okay? It's so funny. But a woman can hardly go into sex with you without having emotions. I remember when I did my webinar on sex in marriage, I said that women, please do not try to deprive your husband of sex. Give him sex whenever he needs it. Give him sex. And men, you got to perform. All right. So I spoke about the signs of an affair in marriage and signs to know when you're married, when your partner is having an affair. All right. I also spoke about who controls sex in marriage. Now that's a cardinal point I want to speak about. Who controls sex in marriage? Who controls? Let's ask ourselves that question. Who actually controls sex in marriage? In reality, nobody controls sex in marriage. When the man wants it, the woman should be able to come to his aid. When the woman wants it, the man should come to his aid. Nobody controls sex in marriage. When either one wants it, the other partner should correspond. I understand that there can be a little bit of exception to that rule. For example, medical. Okay, when the woman have given birth, sometimes especially if she has a knife operation, give her some time to heal. When she has other issues going on with her body, sometimes again, as a man, you go to work, you come back, you're tired after working double shift. The same thing with the wife. So there can be so many issues again that comes up. But if the table is clear, please, couples, do not try to deprive your partner of sex. Sex is very, very critical in marriage. Sex is very critical in marriage. When I did my webinar on marriage, I spoke about men having sex with people who are not their wife. It could cause a lot of trouble. And let me share this with you guys. For men, when I say sex is spiritual, it is very, very spiritual because If you have sex with somebody who's not your partner, as a man or as a woman, you are have there are spirits that go with sex, especially as it relates to women. The spirit of a woman is stronger than the spirit of a man. So once you have the sex with a woman, okay, her spirit is going to go into you. If as a man you have been doing well, you don't have sex with somebody who's not your wife, and she has a bad spirit, you start going down. But if you as a man you have been doing very bad, and then you don't marry a woman who has a good spirit, trust me, she will transfer a lot to it. That is why it pains couples whenever a man or a woman engages in sex outside of marriage. Because for ladies, they feel that your heart is outside, but your body is at home. It boils them. For men, they can hardly forgive you. They can hardly forgive. So we don't want to bring this into our marriage. Because sex is very, very critical in marriage. So I spoke about why women cheat in marriage, and I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why women cheat in marriage. They have this premarital affair. So how does that really work? As a lady, right? Probably before you got married to your man, you felt, oh, there was this man I wanted to get married to, but for one reason or the other, it didn't work. So, but once in a while, you keep having that lust, that emotion. So whenever your partner is no longer there, you not think it's an opportunity for you to go and explore. All right, so that's one reason again, premarital affair. You couldn't marry the partner you were supposed to get married to. Two, husband absence. If your husband is no longer at home, it's an issue. Sometimes it's a reason why people cheat. Let me give an example. If as a man you travel, right? You travel for business. Sometimes your wife might be horny, and she might see it as a reason to cheat. Or education, you leave the country for several school out of the country or in different states, and you leave your wife at home. It's an issue. So the woman might cheat. So what is the rule there? As a man, a man or a woman, if you want to travel, please, if it's possible, go together. If it's possible, go together. If one party gets a job in a different state or a different country, if it's possible, both of you should go together. It is not easy. Excuse me, trust me, it is not easy for one partner to be alone. All right, it's not easy. So both of you have to go together. Another issue again that can lead to reason why a woman might cheat is promotion. How does that work? A woman might be at the place of job and she knows that it will be hard for her to really go on to a higher position. What she might want to do, she might want to like have a sex with the employer or with the boss so that she might get promotion. Superiority complex. How does that really work out? A woman want to have sex with a high profile person, maybe a celebrity or a governor or a senator or probably or a politician, just to show that, oh, I have more class than you as a lady. All right. So they want to show their friends that I have more. I am of a more higher person than you. Another issue can be boredom. If a lady is bored, she might want to have sex with somebody else. All right. Another issue can be dying attention. Right. If a lady does not receive love at home and she goes out to work and a man keeps chasing her, telling her good words, she might want to, have sex with the person because she is hearing something at work, she's not hearing at home. So as a man, you have to know some of all these issues. It is very, very, very important that you know these issues. Even our society can cause a woman to cheat. I call it moral decay. How does that work out? Our society has made it understand that it is good for you to cheat. What is it? Well, come on, cheat. Look at this man. He's having fun elsewhere. Go there and revenge. Revenge. Thank you, Arinze. Thank you, Smile Parker. Thank you, Marcia, for joining. All right. So our society have made us understand that it is good for you to cheat because according to them, the man is cheating. So you have to revenge. And this is not acceptable. All right. So for the men, what is the reason why men cheat? All right. So it could be sexual manipulation. How does that play out? A woman depriving her man of sex. It is not good. The man was okay. There are so many people out there. Let me go there and have fun. All right. So that's an issue both of you have to really discuss. All right. What about emotional needs? If a man has emotional needs and it's not being met at home, he might cheat. Let me give a typical example of what is emotional needs right here. Right. I said again, for a man, men need sex while women want sex. You cannot deprive a man of sex. Sex to a man is like food. Trust me. Sex to a man is like food. The men always release easily, but for the women, it takes a while to come up. So when a man wants to release, he just wants to release immediately. And that is how men are structured. Let's be real. All right, let's be real. All right, so if a man is not having that needs he wants at home, he might go out there in the world or even at work, and then he now decide to mess around with ladies. All right, so it is very, very important for us to know some of all these things because it's very, very critical. Because emotional needs have to be met. I spoke about the different types of sex. And number one, let me just discuss with you guys in recap. We have quickie. It's like as a word, quickie entails. Excuse me. It's like quick love. Early morning love. 1 minute, 2 minutes. You just do your sex. Go for a walk or a conference. Then we have the makeup sex. All right, that's how it's all about when you've quarreled with your wife. And then both of you now reconcile. You reconcile with love. Okay, it is very, very important that both of you reconcile with love. Then when I have the romantic sex, that's the best form of sex. That is the one that releases dopamine. That dopamine is like a stress hormone. Or oxytocin. Once you have that romantic sex, there's a joy that comes with it. The best form of sex is the one you have with your partner. Forget all these people telling you, yeah, I saw this babe, this guy was good in the bed. Trust me, if you love your partner very well, you enjoy the sex. Women say they don't have orgasm, they don't have orgasm, they don't have orgasm. Orgasm is feeling. If you don't have feeling for someone, you might not release. You might not. You might not. All right. So orgasm comes up when you enjoy your sex. All right. So let us put that at the back of our mind. So let us discuss about expectation in marriage. It is very, very important we know what is expectation in marriage because everybody going into marriage with different things, right? All right. So when they go to marriage with different ideas, they want to make sure that their needs are met. You have a mind before I got married. Oh, I want a man like this. I want a woman like this. But when you're not going to marriage, see something else. So what are those decisions that really cause and also have different expectations in marriage? All right. So when I did on my webinar on expectation in marriage, I spoke about different types of marriages. Number one, I spoke about flat marriage. Flat marriage is a marriage that both partners have lost taste for each other. They are only living there for the public or shared responsibility just to fulfill all righteousness. They don't have feelings for each other. That marriage can be seen as flat. So when someone says flat, it's flat. Then we have the conflictual marriage. It's always quarrel, it's always fighting. There's little or no, in fact, there's no intimacy. There's little or no intimacy in that marriage because it's always one problem. Sometimes they get people to come and reconcile them. So sometimes it takes forever. So that kind of marriage again, I don't know how to classify you if you're in that marriage. All right. But then the stable marriage is a little bit advanced. How does that play out? These people they can quarrel once in a while, but at the same time again they can reconcile. All right. But the peak of it is happy marriage. These people are conscious, deliberate, and intentional. This is where you really want to be. Trust me, stable marriage will be there for each other. They will celebrate their birthday, they will go there for outing. The world does not move around them, they move around the world because they don't care about the world, they only care about themselves. That is where marriage ought to be. All right. So when I was doing my webinar on expectation in marriage, there were things that I spoke about. For example, the man and the woman might be together. The woman might say, he promised to be my cheerleader, but today, guess what? He is my most critic fan. He does not support me. The woman might say, he promised to support my career or my career, but today he's no longer doing it. In fact, he's against me doing XYZ. There's no support. He promised to be into me, but today he's no longer there for me. All right. He promised to provide for me, but today he provides for somebody else. He promised to always be there for me, but today he's not there for me. Rather, he's there with his friends and family. He promised to do XYZ, but today he has more interest in something else. So appearance, like we know, is not reality. So what will I say? Men, please remember your promise. And women, please try and manage your emotion. It is very, very important. I know we're all emotional. So let's talk about conflicts in marriage. Okay, that was the last webinar I did last time, conflicts in marriage. Now, every marriage has a conflict. Every marriage has conflict. There is no marriage that has no conflicts. Every marriage has a conflict. It all depends on how you have been able to manage the issue. Like I said earlier on, okay, you have to understand the main issues in marriage. You have to understand the main issues in marriage. And what are the main issues in marriage? It could be the issue of love versus respect. Every man loves to be respected, and every woman loves to be loved, right? So the man might say she doesn't love me, she doesn't respect me. That's an issue, right? And the woman might say he doesn't love me, right? So that's a very big issue. Okay, excuse me, guys. You know I have a cold. Okay, so love versus respect plays a very big role in marriage. When the man does not feel respected, that's an issue. And when the woman does not feel loved, that's an issue. All right. So we have to understand that. But for the man, you have to give a woman something to respect. For you to make a woman to submit, you have to make sure you give her a reason for how to submit. You cannot submit in infertility, right? So a woman must have a reason for submitting. Thank you, Luchimain, for joining. All right. So that is the issue I want you guys to know. So what are different things that can bring conflict in marriage? Distance can bring a problem in marriage. Like I mentioned earlier on, if the man is traveling or the woman is traveling for school or for work, it's advisable for both of you to go together. Okay, when both of you refuse to go together, that might be an issue. The man might be there, do something else. The woman might be there, do something else, and before you know, it becomes an issue. Doubt can bring up issue. How does that play out? Doubt emanates from lack of disclosure. For example, both of you have finance and you decided that, okay, this is how you spend your money, but the man or the woman who is responsible for doing that is not doing it as planned. Okay, it is advisable for both of you to make up the plan as, okay, this is our plan, and again bring it to the table and say this is how the money was spent. When there's lack of disclosure, it can be a problem in marriage. So doubt emanates from lack of disclosure. Okay, what about delays? Delays come in different ways and different styles. For example, it could be delayed having a child. The man might say, I'm tired of you, I'm tired of you. The woman might say, oh, well, you told me you're going to stop drinking, but today you are drinking. Okay, when will you stop drinking? When will you stop humanizing? When will you stop cheating? So delays come in different ways. But in this area, what I'm trying to say is that as a woman, you have to be tolerant to your man. Tolerant, because when the delays are not there, sometimes it becomes a very big issue for her to really handle. All right. So it is very, very critical. You guys know this. Okay. Both of you might also have differences in your marriage. Okay. Before the marriage, differences attract. But after marriage, differences attack. How does that really play out? Okay, you know, there's this thing they call the butterfly love. You know, I love you, you love me, we're always having that fun. But when you not get into marriage, you now realize that appearance is not reality. You start seeing some funny characters in the man and some funny characters in the woman. That becomes a problem. All right. Another issue you get that might arise in a marriage is the issue of time. How does that really work, play out? As a man, you must provide time for your family. You cannot be traveling all over the world, traveling this and that. You know, family is first. Provide time. Like I said earlier on, there's a book called Five Love Languages. I will strongly advise couples to read that book, Five Love Languages. There are 5 things involved in it, okay? 1 is words affirmation. 2 is gift. 3 is services. 3 is time. 4 is quality time. And 5 is physical touch. You must understand your partner's love language. So if any of all this is lacking, it can rise to conflict. So it's always advisable for partners to have quality time together, because that will help both of you to really make sure you have a stronger union. And then finally, let's talk about evaluation of marriage and how to really resolve conflict. If both of you have had so many conflicts in the past, it's advisable for both of you to really evaluate how far you've come. For example, if you're in 1 year marriage, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, evaluate yourself. Marriage is not about competition. No, don't compare your marriage to somebody else. As a woman, don't compare your marriage to someone to another man. No, manage your own issues. So you can tell yourself, how far have we come? Okay, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, this is what we were. Today, this is what we are. So you can now do something I call marriage anniversary, not in church, but marriage renewal. Both of you should now renew your vows. Okay, you're not competing with somebody else. Rather, you're only competing with yourself. So how does that really play out? For you to evaluate your marriage, things don't happen. You have to make it to happen. You have to be intentional about whatever you are doing. For marriage to work, two of you have to come in together to make it work. Two people can fall in love, but it only takes two people to build that love. If both of you have decided you want to be together, both of you need to make it work. It is very, very important. You have to be intentional in whatever you are doing, because without it, it will be hard for you guys to move ahead. Another issue that can result in marriage again can be the issue of personality. Personality. Both of you have different personalities. It can lead to conflicts. Okay. What about sex? Sex can really lead to conflict when one partner is not satisfied. Issue. Money can lead to conflict. When there's no money in the family, it's a problem. All right. So, guys, I don't know if you guys have been able to listen to my webinar. Feel free to ask me your questions, make comments. I know I've been speaking. I have so many stuff on Facebook and on Instagram. All right. But the point I want you to know that marriage is sweet. At the same time again, marriage is challenging. And I'm going to end this marriage again by being practical about my own personal marriage. For marriage to work, a man must take the lead. All right, take the lead. No marriage is perfect. Not even mine is perfect. But I will say, to a reasonable extent, I give God the glory. I have a very good wife. I don't know about tomorrow, but as of today, I have one of the best person you can talk about. I'm not saying it just because I want to please my wife. No, she is a good woman. You know, all I've been doing, okay, was because of her support. Trust me, people see me and see that I have truly transformed. Honestly, it is not by my power. I will attribute that to God and to my wife. You understand? And this is a lady that does virtually everything. I'm like literally like a lazy man, But I thank God. I'm not saying that I don't have my own faults. I have my faults. I have my strengths. She has her faults. She has her strength. But the good thing is that both of us have decided that we're going to be together, and we're intentional about it. Okay, we try to make it work. We try to communicate as and when due. So I'm strongly advising each and every one of you, do the same thing in your marriage. No marriage will work without you putting the efforts. You can't say I'm a good man and then I will get it right together. No, you can't say I'm a good woman, I'll get a good man. No, you have to make it work. If you have a skill and you don't go for training, that skill might just lose out. So it is always important for us to know how this is really work. All right. So my very good friends, I want to thank you guys for giving me your time and your energy. All right. Okay. It says, are you 100% loyal and faithful to your wife? I'm very, very loyal to my wife. I'm very, very faithful to my wife. Okay. I've said that part over and over again. Okay. Because some men are not. I'm very, very committed to my wife. I have never cheated on my wife since I married her by God's grace, and I will never do that again. And I will never do it. So because I know what it's all about, cheating in marriage. All right. So my good friends, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this Instagram live. Please feel free to share this video on your Instagram page. Invite your friends. Next week, I'll be doing a new topic again. All right, because marriage is very, very important in life. So feel free to invite your friends, share this video everywhere, and trust me, you will never regret it. So for now, I want to thank you guys for giving me your time, and I pray that I'll be here with you guys next week on a brand new topic. So if you have any topic you want me to speak about, please feel free to inbox me, send me a message, and I'll be glad to really respond to it. So I'm thanking my friends on Facebook, on Instagram. Today has been a very, very fruitful day. If you have time, go and watch all my webinars in marriage. Thank you, Lauren Wabrese. I really appreciate you. Thank you, all my friends all over the world. So many comments, so many views. I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to have a course in marriage. I'm writing a book on marriage. Thank you, Chrisville. So many comments. I really appreciate you. Remember, this is not a complete a holistic picture, but it's a guideline for you guys to understand how a beautiful marriage can be. So for now, I'm ending this webinar. Thank you and have a blissful evening. Bye.